Happy new moon. New moon vibes. Indeed, Yasharala Shabbat Shalom, because new moon festivals are indeed their own Shabbats. Just like the annual feast days, we have monthly feast days that we call new moon festivals. That's all throughout the scriptures, from Sabbath to Sabbath, from new moon to new moon, we shall worship Ahaya. That being said, let's pray to our Heavenly Father. Heavenly Father, high in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And from new moon to new moon, Abba, we are here. We are present, and we are worshiping you to be obedient to your call and to listen to your commandments, to walk them out. And we ask for you to only guide us. And we know we have to make our own decisions, but we ask to be guided. We ask to be disciplined and to be humbled. We know that the meek will inherit the earth, Heavenly Father, and we want to always keep our ego and our minds in check from the enemy and to not be overtaken by the darkness. We want to be in your light, Heavenly Father. So if any person that's a part of this prayer now, or even watching this later, Heavenly Father, that you deliver any of us that is dealing with any type of darkness, and that you bring us into your light that is the image of the sun that is 7 times brighter than a full moon on this new moon festival. Send the Ruach Kodesh to guide this message. And Ba Hashem Yeshaya. Amen. Amen. This study is called Temple Wellness. We are the temple. So the wellness is talking about our own bodies. This is one of the first subjects that the Most High touched me with. Like, not one of the first. Let me correct myself. This is the very first subject of study that I started on in this walk, doing what I'm doing right now, creating studies for his people to understand the deception that the world that we have been put in is doing to us. And I hope this study enlightens you. And this is a not end all. There's so much, it's endless, from the amount of plants, herbs, food, and deception. This study is built for you to have a foundation of understanding. So then you are capable of going out and exploring and be able to make better decisions on a regular basis. This is very important, because if your body's filled with toxins, you can be sick. You can develop tumors, cancer, diseases. And how can you really be used if you are a glutton, if you're not taking care of your body? All of these things go against scripture. That being said, let's begin. Genesis 1:29. Let's start from the beginning. And Elohim said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. So, simply put, anything that comes forth from seed is for meat, for food, for us to use for different purposes, which we will go over in this study. Psalms 104, 13 and 15. He watereth the hills from his chambers. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of thy works. He causeth the grass to grow for the cattle, and herb for the service of man, that he may bring forth food out of the earth from seeds. Remember, we need to remember that. It's a very most important part about vegetables, fruits, herbs. They come from seeds. It's a requirement. From the earth, and wine that maketh glad the heart of man, and oil to make his face to shine, and bread which strengthens man's heart. So, from the beginning, things that come forth from the earth is given to us. And his creation is just so beautiful. How divine and unique it is. It just goes over our heads so many times. Even the colors of fruits and vegetables can give a signal to the beneficiary of the substance they contain. And I mean, I got the visuals for you right here. We can see from yellow fruits and veggies, the phytochemicals, just the chemical compounds that comes forth from plants. This is the chemical compounds and the benefits from yellow vegetables and fruits, to red chemical compounds coming forth from red fruits and veggies and the benefits. Also with oranges, greens, and blue. And every single one has different benefits. You will see that the food that comes forth from the earth not only is food, but they also help us heal and be well. Ain't that something? The food is not just food for calories, just so we won't be hungry. It also is for us to heal. It's amazing. And I wanted to touch on one of the blue. We have purple potatoes, and I guess purple will go under blue. And I recently tried purple potatoes in the last like 6 months, and I absolutely love them. And I tried them because we were watching this show, Live to 100, Secrets of the Blue Zones. And the Blue Zones is just a zone they marked on a map that it was a higher life expectancy in certain areas in the world where people were living longer. And purple sweet potatoes were one of the main foods that was in their diet, heavily in their diet in one of the blue zones. And as you can see, purple sweet potatoes has twice the fiber, twice the calcium, and over 1,300 times more vitamin than a white potato. And so, in other words, there's just abundance of information out here. And it got me to be like, yo, we should try these purple sweet potatoes. And they are delicious, powerful food, and by no coincidence, on the list for highly nutritional vegetable. And from the benefits of seeds and nuts, there is benefits from everything that comes from the earth. And so eating a balanced diet, we should be continually to feed our bodies all of these nutritional values, right? So we could sleep better, so we can have our vitamins, so we could have healthy skin, hair, organs. This is why it's important to have a balanced nutritional diet. And also, if you find out that your you're not well. Always seek nutrients that already comes forth from the earth that you could just put in your diet. We are used to supplementing from stores and getting pills and whichever from doctors or nutritional shops, vitamin shops, when a lot of these vitamins actually come forth already from the earth. We just have to change our what we eat, our diets, and we could fix a lot of the problems that we are having. Approved oils. We will go over later in this study that of oils that are toxic, that are not approved. But right now in the beginning, we just want to talk about the basics of what the earth provides that is good for us. And so we can just put this in the forefront. If you're, taking notes, if you're trying to figure out how to eat healthy, I'm putting forth things right now in the beginning that is just, this is the good stuff, right? This is all the nutritional things that come forth from seeds of the earth, and oils is one of those. Every single one of these start off with a seed, from coconuts, sesame seed, avocado, grape seed, olive oil, hemp seed. All can have different purposes, but they're all very nutritional and approved as healthy, given to us by Abba. Even sweeteners. There is sweeteners, sugars, syrups, whichever you want to call it, that is healthier than what we are accustomed to eating. This white sugar. White sugar is sweet, delicious, good tasting, and dangerous concentrated sweetener. White sugar is a refined carbohydrate and is technically classified as a drug. It takes 4 pancreases to process white sugar. Humans have 1 pancreas, if you didn't know. White sugar stresses the pancreas, kidneys, liver, starves the brain of oxygen, causes adrenal weakness, baldness, attention deficits, blindness, tooth decay, high blood pressure, allergies, bone loss, infertility, cataracts, glaucoma, nerve damage, brain damage. I mean, the list goes on. It causes cellular waste to congest the soft tissue and bones, requires large amounts of water to flush it out the system, and it is one of the most addicting and harmful drugs used. So, quick switch. Get something that comes forth from the earth. All of these come forth from the earth. They are naturally pulled from the earth. This is one of the most simplest foundations to get you back on track. Now, can you be a glutton and overdo sweeteners? Of course. Moderation, balance. But when it's time to sweeten something, do not use something that is highly processed, fake sugar. Use something that's naturally sweetened from Abba's earth. My favorite of these is the agave. For me, it's the best sweetener that doesn't take long, and I think agave is better than the maple syrup. My favorite of the sweeteners is the agave nectar, which comes forth from a cactus. But all of these, solid enough. And like I said, guys, this is not saying this is all of the possibilities. This is the only good stuff you can have. I don't have enough time to list every food. every healthy alternative. Remember, this study is just to give you a foundation to get on the right path. We can always add on to the list and do our due diligence later. And yes, honey is also on this list of a healthy sweetener, but we will talk about that one a little later. That's why it's not here. All right, so when we are, that was just a quick summary of just a good palette of things that come from the earth, of what's the health benefits with them, and that there is always a better alternative, even with sweeteners, that comes forth from the earth. That's what we opening with. So when we are going to the store, though, in the produce aisle that comes forth from seeds, it matters what you pick, how you pick. And for the most part, we want to pick organically grown. And I hear some people say, oh, it doesn't matter. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. If we are outside of the world and we're not spending all our money on shoes and clothes and expensive worldly things, this is where you're going to spend your money, because they make it that way. Spend your money on organic produce. So if you want to be like, well, how can I, maximize my pocketbook? Well, this is the Dirty Dozen here and the Clean 15. So we see here the Dirty Dozen, you always buy organic. So these are the ones, if you're like, man, do I have to buy all of this organic? This is expensive. Well, the Dirty Dozen list to the left is the list that you absolutely need to buy organic. It penetrates the fruit, the pesticide, and it makes it toxic. The Clean 15, if you're on a budget and you like want to limit some of the cost for produce, these are okay to buy regular, which we see right here, conventionally grown. The barcode will start with a 4 or a 3, and it has 4 digits. We have to get used to doing our due diligence. We're going to talk about that a lot in this study. You have to do it yourself. No one is doing the work for you. Read the labels, look at the barcodes, or you just don't care. You just don't care. Then I don't know why you're here, right? Because this stuff matters. So when you are shopping and you're getting like, okay, I'm going to get these side produce, then it's okay. Look for this label. Not saying you can't get organic. Me personally, I try to go organic all the way. That's just me. But it's completely okay to go the conventional grown. Then organic starts with the 9. It has 5 digits. It will look like this. And all of these to the left absolutely need to be organic. And then we have the last barcode. Starts with the 8 and have 5 digits. This is the barcode you never get. These are hybrid GMO, which is GMO is exactly what this is. Genetically modified organisms. Never buy these. This is red flag. And we'll expound a lot on what GMOs and how they came about later on in this study. All right, so I'm gonna, like I said, there are some people that say buying organic doesn't matter, but let me show you why I believe it does. First and foremost, buying organic, majority of the time, not all the time, things are changing, especially with watermelon. What's the other thing that's really bad? Apples. everything from Abba, like we read, comes forth from seeds. You still got to do your due diligence. They're sneaking in some vegetables and fruits that don't come forth from seeds into the organic aisle, but it does help separate it, the majority of the things that are hybrids, GMOs, when you do buy organic. Stay away from seedless fruit. Grapes and watermelons are the biggest by far. From my experience, the hardest to find nowadays. Watch out. They usually say it on the label the majority of the time. You just gotta do your due diligence on it. Take your time before you buy things. And now I wanted to talk about we already expounded on sweetener alternatives from regular white sugar and the refined sugars we get in the store. But I wanted to touch on the sugar that comes forth from fruit, because it's been like the boogeyman. We think fruit sugar, like any sugar in general, is bad when we see, it's high in sugar. Fruit sugar is different from white sugar, right? Or even like agave sugar. Fruit sugar is different, that comes forth literally within a fruit. Let's read it. Is handled differently by the body than processed sugar. It is a simple sugar which the body and brain run on. Optimal form of energy for us. Brings alkaline and validity to our cells. Reverses acidosis and strengthens cells. All sugars are not the same, as we touched on already. Fruit sugar does not need to be limited. Does not cause diabetes. So before we move forward, I just wanted to get all this information out on the ground root of vegetables, fruits, that they come forth from seeds. And when we shop for them, we get the right ones in the right aisles with the right barcodes, and for us not to be afraid of sugar that can come forth from fruit and vegetables. Don't put everything in one basket with the things that the world has given us. They are not the same.
Most of what is grown today is treated with pesticides. That's not so healthy for the environment, but does it really affect us? Meet the palmbok family. They don't eat organic food.
Det kostar mer än vanligt mat. Det blir en stor skillnad när man är många i en familj.
But for the next 2 weeks, the palmboks are going to eat only organic. Before they begin, urine samples are taken from each of the family members. And it turns out they have a number of different pesticides inside their bodies.
Vi hittade framförallt insektsmedel, svampmedel och stråförkortningsmedel.
Vi äter insektsmedel.
Ja, äckligt.
Ja.
So, everything in the kitchen is replaced, and they begin eating only organic. Then, another round of samples are taken, and now, almost all the pesticides have disappeared.
Sorry, it stopped right there before seeing the rest of the family. I don't know why the video was cut there, but it just shows the similar trend, as they stated, that before the testing, they tested the urine samples, pesticides through the roof, and then going organic clears out the pesticides. Because that's literally, if you don't know, that's what going organic is. Organic is food that hasn't been heavily sprayed, at least heavily sprayed, with organic chemicals. That's what it is. So, is it a coincidence? Of course not. You spray plants with pesticides, you eat it, and you get pesticides. You buy organic, which is foods that are not sprayed with pesticides, and you just get the good fruit that comes forth from seed, and you don't get pesticides. Oh, wow, how amazing is that? Exactly. So why? And that's what we will talk about later is why. And when you're looking at labels and barcodes, we got to start understanding what we're buying, because we can't trust the government. We can't trust anyone to do homework for us. So when you're buying organic and you see organic label or you see a non-GMO label, these are not created equal. A non-GMO label is just verified product that excludes GMO ingredients. That's it. Buying organic, for the most part, it's not perfect, because you can find organic soybeans, and soybeans is a GMO product. Soy is GMO, but they can still grow it without pesticides, which makes it organic, I guess. Excuse me. So it's not perfect, but we're just looking to gather more understanding so we can get to the point of making better decisions, right? And when things aren't perfect, if you are studying and have the understanding, you'll be able to still dodge things that says they are organic, but we know is a hybrid vegetable or a GMO product, right? And yes, exactly, Stephanie. This and all of this can be overwhelming, but that's why I'm putting this down in the study so you can watch this later. Take your time, refer back to it. Because we're going over a lot of information now, a lot. So don't feel overwhelmed. Take your time with this, especially if this is your first time coming across it. It's a lot, because we're just getting started. So when you are shopping, and for me and my household, if there is an organic option, I'm taking it. I'm taking it every time, because it's been proven. And this is just one experiment someone's done. You can do your research on it yourself. Buying organic makes a difference. This is where your money will be spent. And once again, this is why I was saying, know the barcode labeling and what needs to be bought organic. And this is just talking about fruit. There's also products that's on the shelves in boxes that are organic and non-organic. And the pesticide, we're touching on this now. We have a whole section at the end of this study for this, but we're going to touch on the pesticide. EPA reasserts. What's EPA? Environmental Protection Agency. Oh, the irony. The agency is built to protect us. But what do they reassert? Glyphosate, safe to use, probably not carcinogenic. Carcinogenic, excuse me, is pretty much a chemical that can cause cancer. Glyphosate is the main pesticide that is sprayed, that we just watched on that video, on your produce all over the world, mostly the worst in America. And the active ingredient, glyphosate, the herbicide Roundup, literally, you could go to Home Depot, Go to any outside store that sells things for your outside weeds, lawn, and they're going to have Roundup. And the EPA says that, oh, this is there's nothing wrong with this. This is good. But at the same time, oh, this is just another, I'm just showing you another witnesses. This is the same witness of the EPA regulating glyphosate. But Roundup will kill weeds. It will kill your pets, your children, your pollinators, your bees, hives. If you really need to get rid of some weeds, use 1 gallon of white vinegar, cup of salt, tablespoon of dish soap instead. There are always healthier ways to do everything in this life. And you see, water, vinegar, salt, they're all natural products that comes forth from the earth, right? When we eat or use products that do not come from the earth and they are made in a lab, they're going to be poisonous. And that's with everything. This is just to give you an idea of what is the pesticide that makes things unclean to eat, that puts all of those pesticides in your body. It is glyphosate. Once again, we will touch on this much later. But as we see, the EPA, and we will see later, the FDA, all say this is good while it's killing us. We cannot trust anyone. First Corinthians 10:31, whether therefore ye eat or drink, or whatsoever ye do, do it all to the glory of Elohim. All right, the main part of this is the drink. We touched on things that come forth from the earth that we digest, we eat, and then we talked about, hey, making sure we get the right selection generally when we are shopping produce for what we eat. Now, what we drink. Water found inside of fruits and vegetables is the purest and cleanest, healthiest water you can drink, known as H3O2. This highly structured water is referred to as fourth phase of water, not H2O, but H3O2. It can be called living water. It's more viscous, dense, and alkaline than regular water. Has a negative charge, well, tap water especially, and can hold energy much like a battery and deliver energy too. Water has power. And, you know, you can get, and we see just basic H3O2 from fruits and vegetables such as carrots, can detox liver, strengthen immune system. Cucumbers regulate blood pressure, promotes healthy skin, hair, nails. Beet juice, menstrual pain, supports red blood cells, and also a heart support. Celery juice lowers blood pressure, protects nerve system. And so this is what H3O2 does. It heals by no coincidence. The water that comes forth from fruit is the cleanest, healthiest, most alkaline, and nutritionally dense water you can consume. And we just to the side, just saying this is a list of the top of the line fruits and veggies that has the most H3O2 that can help you stay hydrated. Melons in general, cantaloupe, honeydew, watermelon, etc. The vegetables, celery, cucumbers, lettuce, etc., and other fruits, strawberries, peaches, pineapples, oranges, bell peppers are all high in water that is H3O2. And you know, that's why I'm on my juice kick. I've been loving it. I've been loving it. To know that I can start my day with a super hydrated fruit juice that not only is replenishing my body for the day, hydrating my body for the day, giving me nutrients, vitamins, minerals. I mean, how else would you want to start your day? And if you don't, obviously got a juicer and able to do that, then guess what? You can eat the fruit. Start your day. If you're going to break your fast, which is why it's called breakfast, it's to break your fast. You want to do it with fruit to flood your body. Because if you wake up and you haven't, done anything the last 8 hours laying in bed, you want to replenish, you want to hydrate your body and get those simple sugars that we talked about from fruit. The simple sugars from fruit, that is the time you want to flood your body with simple sugars because it's ready energy. Your body will be able to use it immediately. You don't have to break it down like a carbohydrate. Complex carb. All right. I just wanted to touch on the pH food chart. So in the Dr. Sebi alkaline food list, like I said, I wanted to touch on so many different parts of this walk in a nutritional standpoint, so you just have understanding. So everything alkaline that's above 7.0, these are going to help the body heal. And that's what everything I don't like necessarily disagree with Dr. Sebi. This is a great list to have for if you want to just screenshot it for or look it up for groceries. Everything on this list is guaranteed to be alkaline. And that's what the Dr. Sebi was about. Dr. Sebi was about if it's not going to heal your body, why put it in your body? And that's great. So he focuses on everything alkaline. Alkaline heals. Everything that is below 7 is known as acidic, which doesn't heal. And as it says here, consume sparingly or never. And we see it under it. We have a lot of good stuff, though. We will have things that you would consume like bread, honey, meat, clean meat, even watermelon. So my thing is, this is all alkaline. If you are looking to detox, to fast, to heal your body, if you are diagnosed with a tumor, with cancer, with a disease, then this is what you need to be on. You need to focus on being alkaline because an alkaline state body is for healing. And that's what all of this Dr. Sebi alkaline food list is about. My only take is Abba has given us much more than what is on alkaline. But we should take this advice to only consume sparingly. All meat, majority of the meat is 5 to 3 pH, very acidic. The all-American diet gives us a piece of meat in every meal. My point is that I don't think that has ever been designed for the way our bodies are to consume food. Any test will show you that. Consuming nothing but meat, that's not even realistic if you were doing the butchering, the hunting, the butchering, the gathering. It's not even realistic. The only reason people can have a carnivore diet nowadays is because you're buying it from the store. My point is, we want our body to be inclined to heal itself, which is alkaline. But you can consume things that are acidic, but things that are acidic should be consumed way less than those that are alkaline. Now, if you are unwell, then you need to minimize the majority of the stuff that's not alkaline. Obviously, we know things, we'll talk about honey later, that you can have honey with garlic, which is also below in certain things. So there are a few that are outliers on the acidic end. But just wanted to touch on it to give the base understanding of the matter of when you are looking at things that are acidic, non-acidic, alkaline, what's that mean? And that you need to have balance in your life. And if you look at your things and like everything you're eating is acidic, you're not creating a optimal environment for healing in your body. And that's really what the pH food chart in a nutshell is showing us. Like I said, nothing wrong with this list, but the Most High has given us animals, permission to eat animals, and there are a lot of other good things that's not on this list that I believe you can consume that can do good for the body, and other things that you can consume that just needs to be maybe one meal a day. That's where I'm at. I feel like meat, a very meaty plate, should only be one plate, one meal a day that you will have a lot of meat. The rest of it should come in plenty of other vegetables, fruits, seeds, grains, etc. And touching on that tap water. Most tap water is neutral. I can say you focus on drinking H3O2, which is alkaline fruit, right? But we want to stay away from tap water. Tap water is full of, toxic chemicals. It's not regulated properly at all. They are pouring even fluoride in the tap water. Stay away from tap water. You want to look for spring water, natural spring water, not fake spring. Spring water should be already alkaline. If it's from a natural spring, it should be alkaline, which is 7 or above. Well, just above 7, right? And the way we even get our water should be in, not yet, should be in glass. Well, touch on it. Glass, steel, copper, not a bottled water with chemicals added to it. Let's look at this example here in this Sensia. Look at all these ingredients. We just want water. Remember, water should only have one ingredient, which is water. Do not buy any water that has more than one ingredient. And also, we see this says purified. Purified water don't mean nothing. 9.5 pH or higher. So they're saying, hey, it's alkaline. But if you do not know any ingredient, any water that says it's alkaline, and you go to the ingredients list and it doesn't say spring water or just water, and it has sodium bicarbonate, that is what's making it alkaline. It's not real alkaline. It doesn't give true benefits of alkaline water. They add sodium bicarbonate to manipulate the pH so you would buy it because they know people will look for things like this. This is the little details that we have to check on in this walk. We have to start looking at the nutrition facts and knowing what to look for. So we don't want tap water, faucet water. We don't want bottled water that's in plastic that has sodium and other ingredients added to it. We want spring water with only one ingredient and no other chemicals. And hopefully you can see that it is alkaline, which is water that can heal from that comes forth naturally from the earth. And now looking at the packaging that water could come in, talked about plastic. So not only can the water itself have added chemicals, the plastic that the water is given to us in can add chemicals in the water itself. So the top three I put on here: steel, glass, copper. And we see there's many benefits to have your water in a copper container. It may actually like alter the taste a little bit, but doesn't change the benefits from it being in copper. All right, so we touched on the majority of things that come forth from seed, all the way to the H3O2 that comes forth from the fruit that came forth from the seed. Now we're getting on animals. Abba's given us permission to consume animals from Noah getting off the ark and the instructions in Leviticus 11. This is its own study. I will not go over the entire food law and how I came about this food law list in this study. That's why it's its own study. If you have not watched it, go watch the food law, which I break down line by line, scripture on how I found the unclean and clean list for each of these categories. But here we are. So we have land animals. They need cloven hooves, chews the cud, and they all will have horns that are clean. And that makes this clean and unclean land animals. As you can see, this is from Leviticus 11 and reiterated in Deuteronomy 14. And even here, please verify for yourself. You need to make sure, verify for yourself. Each animal is good for food, which chews the cud, has horns, and has cloven hooves. The food law video breakdown is on my YouTube, Become Set Apart, called Food Law. And the same thing with the unclean animals, double check that no ingredient list has any of these unclean animals on it. Not like we will see a cheetah, a cat, but mostly things like pork. When you're looking at your ingredients list, do you see gelatin, porcine? Do you see any type of word for pork? You got to learn these things. You got to grow. We have to grow. Creatures of the sea need to have scales and fins to consume, which gives us this list. All the clean fish that has scales and fins, and unclean sea creatures that don't. And now birds, fowl of the air. That the bird has a crop longer than a finger and not a bird of prey. So their main diet source is hunting other animals, is a bird of prey, like an eagle, a hawk, a vulture. That's what they do all day, is they go and hunt. Those are birds of prey. And we see this is like a pigeon. A lot of people don't think pigeons are clean, but they even sacrifice pigeons. Any animal that is sacrificed is clean, right? And this is what gives us the list for clean birds and unclean birds. Oh wow, what a great precept there from Ecclesiasticus, Danny. Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 37:30, for excess of meats bringeth sickness. Wow, right on the money. Exactly. What I was saying earlier about this carnivore diet. Carnivore diet does not ever put your body in a state of healing. Over consuming meat is not good. It's not good for the overall well-being of your body. And clean and unclean insects. All right, so now we're going to talk about a few things that come forth from animals, like animal tallow. Tallow can be beef fat. It can also be from the fat of goats, so cow fat, goat fat, sheep, or elk. So fat from any of these clean animals. Tallow comes from the hard fatty tissue that surrounds organ meats, most often the kidney and loins of the cow. So we see, this is a picture of it, right? Of what it looks like inside of a person. It's the inner fat that is called visceral fat. Is a type of body fat that's stored deep within the abdominal wall, surrounds organs like the stomach, intestines, and liver, okay? That is where you get tallow. So if your fat comes like it's the remnant of your beef bacon fat, for example, you know, like people keep bacon fat, but for us, beef bacon fat, right? That's not the tallow. That's not the tallow. The definition, by definition of tallow, we're talking about the fat that comes from the organs of an animal. Any other fat that's around a piece of steak, I'm not talking about that. That's not fat that surrounds the organ. You can consume that little bit of fat that's on your steak if you want to. That's not what I'm talking about here. Just want to make it clear. This is the fat that's inside of the animal surrounding the organs. That is tallow, which is the visceral fat of an animal. Okay. So that being said, let's read some scripture here. Leviticus 3:14 through 17. And he shall offer his offering, even an offering made by fire unto the Most High, the fat that covers the inwards, and all the fat that is upon the inwards, and the 2 kidneys and the fat that is upon them. I mean, this is literally verbatim, right? We just said, what is the tallow I'm talking about? The kidneys, the organs, the inwards, the kidneys, and it shall he take away, and the priest shall burn them upon the altar. It is the food of the offering made by fire for a sweet savor. All the fat is the Most High's. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations throughout all your dwellings, that ye eat neither fat nor blood. Which fat? The visceral fat that is around the organs, that is in the inward parts. So we are not to consume tallow. Tallow, you look it up, they'll tell you, hey, it's good to eat. We're not to eat it because that is not to be eaten by us. And this is giving us understanding on how we could still use and benefit from tallow in Leviticus 7:22-25. And the Most High spoke unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, ye shall eat no manner of fat of ox, sheep, goat. I mean, exactly what we were reading. From ox, goat, sheep, and the fat of the beast that dies of itself, and the fat of that which is torn with the beast, may be used in any other use, but ye shall in no wise eat of it. Well, there you have it. We shall never eat the inward fat, tallow of an animal, but we can have other use for it. Just cannot be eaten. So we do not cook with tallow. For whosoever eateth the fat of the beast, of which men offer an offering, see, is telling you which type of fat. The type of fat that is offered, which is the inwards fat, made by fire unto the Most High, even the soul that eateth it shall be cut off from his people. So in conclusion, get tallow for body cream, because culinary and dietary purposes needs to be X'd out for the benefits of tallow. Use it for skincare or candles. Even it can be good used for leather, lubrication, and the list goes on. Just not consumption. All right. The next thing that comes forth from animals that we should check on, we got eggs. Not all eggs are created equal, right? Everything can be manipulated. And we see eggs being talked about for consumption in Deuteronomy 22:6-7. If a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young, but thou shalt in any wise let the dam go and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou may have prolonged thy days. So, right, he's telling you to take the eggs. Don't take the eggs and the mom. Leave the mom, take the young, so life continues, right? And when we are shopping, you know, we have especially those white eggs. Don't get anything that is bleached white. Nothing, there's very few things that's in the grocery store that comes naturally white. White bread, white sugar, white eggs, white napkins, white, or anything that is bleached white, you don't want it. But then you have things such as cage-free, which is misleading. And there's so many misleading labels in the grocery store. They're not organic. There's nothing really good about it. It's misleading. The best thing you can do if you're buying from a grocery store and not able to find a farm or someone with chickens, to know that you're getting them from a pasture-raised farm, then this is the best thing you can get in the grocery store. All right. Remember what I was saying? Not only fruit you can buy organic, but there's other things that you get organic. This is an example. Plenty of other things you buy that if you have an opportunity to get organic, then go organic. Organic means way less pesticides should be included compared to the normal. And if you ever had farm eggs straight from a chicken compared to it, especially those white eggs that's in the grocery store, the yolk and everything looks and tastes different. And now, milk and honey. Leviticus 20, verse 24. But I have said unto you, ye shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am Hayah, your Elohim, which have separated you from other people. So the land with milk and honey. So you can actually make milk from a lot of things. You can make milk from almonds, cashews. You can make a plant-based milk for if you want to do cooking and you want to use milk that's non-dairy, you can have other sources for milk. But milk that comes forth from animals, there is a difference between raw milk from a farm than conventional milk that has been added to and pasteurized. So when they pasteurize this milk, they put in chemicals to extend its life expectancy, its shelf life. Anytime they do that, they are adding toxins. Let's put this in perspective. Back in the day, let's take the story of Joseph become overseer in Egypt, and he's warned about a famine coming, and he will store grain for the famine. And if you didn't store, you were out of food because food didn't last back in the day. So how can we get food to last in our time without a cheat code? And when we try to use a cheat code and have things pasteurized or add preservatives, that cheat code ends up being a cancer. Toxins, chemicals that hinder our body because it's not real chemicals that is come forth from the earth, because things are not meant to last forever or months longer than it's supposed to. And so when you see things pasteurized, highly processed, that's what that means, is that it's extending its shelf life and is adding chemicals that is actually toxic. And we see with raw milk, everything stays active of all the nutrients that comes forth from the milk, from what is pasteurized. And not only are they removing nutrients from it, they are also adding toxins. And then also, if someone like me that can have some lactose intolerance to pasteurized milk, my body consumes and has less of a effect to, like, what would happen if you consume a lot of dairy and you're lactose intolerant with pasteurized milk than it is with raw milk, because it is still intact with all the nutrients and immune factors that comes with the raw milk that they strip away when it's pasteurized. So, it's a lot. But if you can get your hands on it, like every single thing that you can change really does matter in your health and in your walk. And of course, you can find there are certain stores that can offer some of these things, but it's always best for straight from the source if you could get it from a local farm. I tell everyone, always check your surrounding areas before you go for things that you know that farms can sell, because a lot of, you'll be surprised, a lot of places have excuse me, man, has a lot of farms around that may sell these things. We just found a milk farm 15 minutes from us that we didn't even know about the first 2 years that we were here. So do your due diligence and research. Now, honey, once again, you want your honey to be local honey. This will help with your allergies and things that come from the local environment that you're in. Leviticus 11, this is in the Targums. Verse 20 and 21, and every flying insect that goeth upon for the flying species, etc., etc. This verse 21. So the flying insects outside of grasshoppers and locusts are abominations. Like, we are not to, bees are not a clean insect to eat. Nevertheless, of honey of the bee you may eat. So also of these you may eat of flying reptiles that go up upon four. So they're saying honey with the other flying insects such as grasshoppers and locusts, you may eat. And now, I mentioned this earlier, that there's a lot of benefits with honey. Honey can be used to help our immune system and when we're not well, and it never, there's no such thing as honey being outdated. It extends the shelf life and can just be beneficial, as that video is just an example of garlic infused honey. And you can even see at the end of this video, also, you can do this with onions. It boosts the immune system, reduces blood pressure, lowers cholesterol, improves and preserves brain function, provides longevity, improves physical performance, detoxifies heavy metals from the body, keeps bones strong, fights viral, bacterial, fungi infections, combats allergies, as I was saying, with from local honey, promotes healthy digestion and high antioxidant levels. All right. Before we move on from things that come forth from animals, let's talk about mixing meat and milk, which is dairy in general. So I'm pulling from two different Targum translations, Targums Onkelos and Jonathan. All right, so Exodus 23:19, the beginning of the first fruits of thy land thou shalt bring unto the sanctuary of the Adon, the Elohim. Thou shalt not eat flesh with milk. In these Targums, they straight up tell you that. Flesh is meat, right? And milk is anything dairy. Going down to another Targum translation in Exodus 34:26, the best of the first fruits of your land ye shall bring to the sanctuary of the Adon, your Elohim. You are not allowed to boil or to eat, so cook, or to eat flesh, meat, and milk mixed together. And that's what I was mentioning earlier. If you want to eat meat with something that is a dairy, you can go plant-based. There is plenty of plant-based options for cheeses out there, and you can make your own plant-based milk as well. Lest my displeasure be kindled against you. And then this is Deuteronomy of just the regular Masoretic. in Deuteronomy 14:21 that says, thou shalt not cook a kid, which is a baby goat, in his mother's milk. And I've done a study on this separately already, just reiterating it here, that this poor translation that nobody has ever did. Nobody goes and gets a young kid in any time in history. It says, we're going to make sure we get the milk from the mother and we're going to boil this one kid. The point making here, I truly believe, is the mixture of milk and meat is what's being portrayed here in the Masoretic manuscript from these two Aramaic translations. And then we also have a story in Genesis 18, verse 2 and 8, where Abraham gives only angels meat and milk. This is the only story in the entirety of Scripture that mentions someone being given milk products and meat to consume at the same time, and it is only given to angels. And us and angels are not on the same covenant. They don't have the same laws that we do. We're just men and women. And I have that stated there because there's a purpose behind that. And it's not for our purpose. So once again, I go over this a little bit in the food law video, and I also have an IG live on it on my Instagram. If you want to find that, or you need help finding it, just message me and I'll send it to you. And why should we not mix flesh and milk? Well, I believe that there is a spiritual point to it, that once we are weaned from milk in the word, we should never go back to eating milk, right? Once we are weaned, you don't go back. You start chewing on meat of the word. I believe that's the spiritual significance. But the well-being significance, we read right here, the Old Testament offers some dietary advice about not mixing milk and meat. Milk provides a hospitable environment for bacteria on meat to multiply. So this does make sense. And this is, if you want to search it, this is the source of who wrote this article. So if you ask me, my understanding of what Scripture portrays is us to not mix meat and milk. You can always do a plant-based milk because it does not come forth from animals. And this means any animal. And for those that have asked before, what about like eggs? Eggs ain't flesh. Eggs is not flesh. Meat is literally like flesh, meat. So I don't consider eggs meat. And then someone would say, oh, what about fish? Fish is meat. Someone was like, oh, is it just talking about animals that come forth from a mammal that brings forth milk? It don't say that at all. I don't think it portrays that at all. Like, that misses the entire point. The milk still provides a hospitable environment for bacteria on any piece of meat, not just cow meat, right? It doesn't take away the negative effects of meat and milk being eaten together. And like I said, if it's meat, and any milk that comes forth from an animal, if you ask me, I wouldn't consume. All right, so all of the details that comes forth from animals, check. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Know ye not that ye are the temple of Elohim, and that the spirit of Elohim dwells in you? And that's what all of this is about. I put this verse after the entire food law, after going over every seed-bearing fruit, because we want to follow those instructions. We want to consume things that come from seed. We want to keep the food law. We don't want to mix clean with unclean, because you are the temple. But I also wanted to touch on more than just what you eat, but how you eat, the amount that you eat, in what else you do in this life with your temple. And so this gets to, like, if you don't know, I'm a personal trainer. This feels more like the personal trainer part of the study, where I'm teaching, hey, you got to learn how to read nutrition facts. You got to figure out how much you need to be consuming. Because if you have always grown up in a household with poor dieting, an American diet, and you have never learned how to eat, you've been overeating, you're overweight, and everyone has their own journey and path. It's okay. But what you do now is what matters. Once you come to the truth, you're like, man, I got to change the way I eat. I don't know how. And that's what all of what we just went over is all good things that you can put in your body. So now you know, okay, well, I know these type of oils, these type of fruits. I have a basic understanding of the food law. Now you know what to eat, but now how much to eat and how to read nutrition labels. And I'm going to go over this pretty swiftly. You can go and zoom in and read all of this on replay. Take your time. But the serving size, when you look at the nutrition label, as we see over here, it tells you the amount in the servings per container. You'd be surprised. I'm going to simplify it as it gets, because a lot of people, when you don't understand it, you don't understand it. Some people will take the total calories and say, oh, this container has only 90 calories, not understanding that this is only one serving size of 4. Oh, so it's not 90 calories. It's 4 times 90. That's way different. That's 360 calories if my math is correct. And that's why you got to understand the serving size. There's 4 of these. It's broken into 4, which is them saying, this is the amount we expect you to eat, is only 1/4 of this container, right? And that's what this 90 calories is. Total fat is exactly that, the fat content. And this could be good fat. Don't be afraid of any of these big 3 of the fat, the carbs, and the protein. You just got to know how to balance it. Those are the big 3 that we call macros. All the other ones, sodium, fiber, those are micros, the micronutrients and the macronutrients. Where also other things are pretty straightforward. It tells you the amount of cholesterol. Remember, all of this is amount per serving. So this is all times 4. So whatever this is times 4. You got to make sure. If it says 6 servings, then this will be times 6. So if you're going to eat half the bag for this one in 4 servings, then I'm eating, man, I didn't press it. I'm eating double this. You got to understand these basic things so you don't overeat and wonder why I'm not losing weight. Sodium, aka salt, and a lot of processed foods are very heavy on salt and sugars. And a lot of things that have the nutrition label that looks like this is in a package. So that's already a flag. Not saying you can't eat nothing that's in a package, but there is some type of process that happens that to put this in a package that it's been processed, which means there has been ingredients added to the source that like if I'm eating a cereal is going to come in a box that has nutrition facts. And even if the cereal is organic and has good ingredients, there is going to be a couple of ingredients that helps it be preserved and processed to even be in a box that to last 2-3 months, okay? Sodium, sugar, vitamins, and minerals. You see at the bottom, here. Saturated fats. So saturated fats can come from like meat. So it's not necessarily bad to have a little saturated fats because that's normal to have with a piece of steak. Now, trans fats is horrible. You shouldn't be having any trans fats. Trans fats is from highly processed foods. If it has a 5-6 grams of trans fats, it's straight poison. You never want to have trans fats. Carbohydrates, everything can have carbohydrates from bread, potatoes, fruits, vegetables. But there is different levels of carbohydrates. You have the simple carbohydrates from fruits and vegetables, and then you have more complex carbs from rice, grains, potatoes. But right now, let's just go over the basics. Fiber and protein. How do we get the calorie count? Calories is energy for the body. The calories come forth from the big three, the macros. Proteins has 4 calories per gram. Carbs has 4 calories per grams. And fats has 9 calories per grams. And then you have what is called empty calories, which is from alcohol, because alcohol, liquor, brings no nutritional value. So it's straight empty calories. It does nothing good except it just gives you calories. That's it. And it's 7 calories per gram for alcohol. And so I throw a little advice down here. We need to be drinking at least 3 liters of water or H3O2 a day. We need to be walking daily. Resistant training, which is anything that puts stress on your muscles. You could be doing push-ups, body weight squats. You could be lifting weights. You could do resistant bands. Anything that puts stress on your muscles is resistance training. You want to at least do those 2-3 days a week. This is what keeps your body strong. You just being mobile and walking around is not going to help your muscles and your body's well-being in a sense of functionally working to maintain a level of strength as you get older. And when you do resistance training, it allows you to build muscle, and muscle gives your body a optimal environment to burn more fat. The more muscle you have on your body, it's easier to burn more fat. Minimize processed foods and simple sugars that don't come from fruit. And find time to stretch about 10 minutes daily. And when I say walk daily and stretch daily, it's Shabbat. Am I talking about, hey, make sure you go get you a good walk in? I'm not saying that. Even Mashiach was taking a walk on Shabbat, but it's not a stress like I need to go work out on Shabbat. That just means most days, if I'm immobile and I'm not getting any walking in, any steps in, it's not good for you. Our bodies are not meant to be sedentary and not moving around. And once again, I know this is a lot of information. Just like all the studies I do, right? This information is not meant to overwhelm you, but this is meant to be a source that you can slow down, pause, take notes, and have a reference point to go back to. Okay, and I wanted to show you something. Super easy stuff. Super easy stuff. And yes, you'd be surprised. Just cleaning up your diet in general, and the food law, you'll see also when you stop eating meat and milk together and have these heavy pastas, lasagnas, that you will lose weight. Ain't that funny? You will naturally lose weight the more you cleave to the Most High's dietary instructions. But for those that are seeking counsel and need a little bit more of evaluation to get that weight down more, you could go to calculator.net and it will bring you to, you can find a macro calendar that can give you your calorie count. This stuff is very easy to find. This is real science. This gives us understanding on how much our body should be consuming for what we are doing and what our goals are. If we're trying to lose weight, gain weight, and there are some that are underweight. You could do this for people that are trying to put on weight. You're like, man, I'm actually like really thin. I want to put on a little bit of weight, a little bit of muscle. You do the same exact thing I'm telling you. It's just fill out the information. So I'm going to do myself. If y'all don't know, I'm 36 years old. I'm a male. I'm 5'8", about 180. I exercise, yeah, sure, 4 or 5 days a week. And let me say this real quick. If you're not training like an athlete, or you're not like let's say you work for FedEx and 8 to 10 hours a day, you're just running, picking up stuff, heavy boxes. That's either training like an athlete or you have a physical job. You never go above moderate. Just because, hey, I work out 6 days a week, but you work out for 30 to 40 minutes. That's not what this is talking about. Okay, stay moderate unless you are an athlete that trains for extensive time in 6+ days a week. Well, it shouldn't be more than 6 days a week. Do not train on Shabbat or a very active job. Okay, so 4 to 5, and let's say I want to lose a little weight, not a lot. So mild weight loss. Then you press calculator. Too easy. And then there's different ways that you can manipulate this. If I want to have more, let's say I want to eat more healthy fats. Or, my bad, lower the carbs. Let's say these are too many carbs for me. You can manipulate it. But all of these are different ways to help you get to the goal that you desire. Okay? You pick one that suits your eating style, and you hit this number with the idea of these grams. Don't have to be perfect. These are just, you see the range? This is giving you a range. All it is doing is putting you in the environment that your body can thrive in the goal that you're wanting to achieve. These are all very important if you are trying to be in a well-balanced mental, physical, spiritual state. And then you'll get a caloric intake of this, and it'll be broken down into the 3 macros. And then if you're eating all the good things I showed you, your fruits, your vegetables, healthy sweeteners, good meats, you're getting all those good nutrients in your body, and you're getting them balanced in your caloric intake. And then you will lose weight. You'll feel good. Your energy will be high. This is how it works. And then I recommend downloading apps such as FoodUcate or Yuka. These 2 apps are grading apps that helps you make better decisions. When I use these, even with what I know, because you can pick up 2 things and be like, man, these both look pretty good. Let me get another opinion. Let me scan the barcodes or type them in, and they will show you a letter grade or a scaling system. This is Yuka right here to the right, and this is FoodUcate. FoodUcate gives you a letter grade from an A+ to an F-, and then it'll tell you why they give it the letter grade. just as this one from 0 to 100, it'll say what the negatives and what the positives are. I love these type of apps. I recommend them to all my clients. You always want to start at home, and anything with the barcode, scan, find out what you are consuming right now on a regular basis. Then if something comes out, like I tell my clients, if you're not on the AB honor roll, you're wrong. You want 95% of what you eat to be at least a B- or up. Not sure about the grayscale on that, but you want it to be at least good. You want good things for your consumption. You don't want things that's C-, barely passing, D's get degrees type mindset. This is your body on the line here. Your temple is given to you to take care of, nobody else. And in doing so, this is what your life should turn into. You start swapping things. You scan, you start learning, you make observations. And, I know money can be tight. I'm not saying just throw away everything. I mean, if it has pork or something, absolutely. But when you discard, when it runs out, make better choices, from seasonings to your baking goods. This is what the app and reading in labels will help you get to. From your peanut butter and jellies. Scan them, make an observation, then improve it to a better choice. This is for everything that has barcodes. Now, if it comes forth from the earth, we already went over that, right? We went over the barcodes for buying produce. This is the version for those that will have barcodes that it's not just straight produce. We're just doing this in a different level now. From even snacks in general. We understand you got to have things on the go. You want things that are simple, which I still like fruits. Like one of my favorite snacks is dried fruit, dried pineapples, dried mangoes. I even like dates by themselves. I mean, still find ways to incorporate fruit in produce in your snacks. But things with barcodes, scan it, get the best ones available. Especially if from the ingredients to organic, you can do it. From what you put on your produce when you make a salad. There's levels to everything. Make the better choice. Every single one you change is going to add up. You may go, oh, well, that's only one thing. But when you have 100 things in your fridge and your cabinets, and they all are adding some type of additive or toxic chemical, it builds up and it creates one big problem in your body, which is the entire scheme of the devil and why it's built this way. The system is built this way for groceries and what they can and cannot put in the ingredients in your food. So let's continue with a list of foods that may contain gelatin or porcine. So understand, we are now getting used to checking the ingredients lists. And now a lot of these things, cereals, toothpaste, Jell-O, a lot of them have taken out the pork because they've been put on blast from like the vegan community. But this just is to go to show you that once upon a time, the majority of these had pork in it, especially still things like marshmallows have pork in it. There are options that don't have pork in it. That's why you are learning this and we are growing so we can make the right decisions. Even wine. Wine can have gelatin. Gelatin is used as a product for the what's the word? Purification process, the irony of it. Pork is used for wine purification. It's like an oxymoron right there. Makes no sense. So you want to go to an app. This is an app and a website, Barnivore. Because I used to drink, when we first got into truth, we love porch swing. So this is a real screenshot from my phone when I found out a few years ago when I put in porch swing. And porch swing is not a vegan-friendly wine. It has gelatin, was used for the purification process. So in all that we do, let's protect our temple, do our due diligence, eat clean, eat non-GMO, stay away from highly processed foods. All right. And all that being said, we see so many benefits of it, of what Abba has given us, but now we're getting into the optimal benefits, which is the holistic part of herbs from the earth. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus 38, or the Adon created medicines from the earth, and a sensible man will not despise them. In Ezekiel 47:12, this is a mentioning of idea of New Jerusalem, but still the point is here. When he speaks, by the river upon the bank thereof, on this side and on that side, shall grow all trees for meat, as we read in Genesis 1, whose leaves shall not fade, neither shall the fruit thereof be consumed. It shall bring forth new fruit according to his month, according to their waters. They issued out of the sanctuary, and the fruit thereof shall be for meat, and the leaf thereof for medicine. So a real medicine cabinet is medicines of the earth. And I truly believe that all illness, a plant has a cure. Because food in itself is medicine. And we talked about consuming. We consume these foods, and what you consume is what you are, right? And we have so many things from the earth that naturally heals our organs. And we touched on beets earlier, that beets is a blood purifier. It helps cleanses the blood, detoxes the liver, boosts energy, stamina, improves digestion, lowers cholesterol. Food naturally that comes from Abba restores and heals the body. And in fruits even can fight cancer. And not just fruits, other herbs that we call weeds, or we've been taught to call weeds. And there's so many, it's just unlimited, the amount of benefits for the immune system, for our well-being, from which right here, a recipe that has cloves, ginger, cinnamon sticks, and when we do combinations like these for teas and wellness components, look at all the good stuff we're putting in our bodies. And this is why when you consume fruits, when you consume ginger, cinnamon, you can reverse tumors, cancers, things that are harmful for your body when you flood your body with these good, all these different, so many different choices that come forth from the earth. And I absolutely love beets. If you haven't, try juicing beets. Beet juice is the best. I love it. And there's an herb for every organ, every single organ in the body. If you go get evaluation, and let me say this, I'm not opposed going to the doctor. I'm opposed going to the doctor for treatment. I'm not opposed going to a doctor for their expert opinion on what's wrong. So if I think something's wrong with me, but I don't have all the tools, I don't have the knowledge to be like, man, I don't know why I'm short of breath. I don't know why this is going on. You can go and get an assessment. You can go and get their opinion, but it's just when right after they give your opinion, they'll go to try to get you on some pharmaceutical, and that's usually how it goes. So I'm not against going to get evaluation for them to check your blood pressure, for them to do what they need to do to see what's wrong. And then you take that information and you go and search for herbs of the earth. Instead of them giving you a pharmaceutical to help you with your problem, you go, oh, so that's what's going on. That's why I've been struggling because I need to detox my kidney. So let me go and take dandelions and other things that we're going to go over. That's the idea of what we need to do in this walk. And if you can find someone that's a herbalist, holistic doctor, then that's even better. But if you need a little bit of help, you can go and get an opinion, but just make sure you stop it there. That's all I'm saying. Yes, overall, 100% would avoid doctors. I'm saying if your back's against the wall and you haven't been able to figure it out, then go get a second opinion. That's all I'm saying. It's okay to go and get a second opinion for someone that I got all the tools and could just at least point you in the right direction. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying nothing more than that.
I come to the garden alone, while the dew still on the road, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God is closing. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells.
All right. That was a cool little video I found. 14 herbs of the Bible that heal and nourish. And that's what it's about. The Bible is giving us all of what we need with the instructions. Given to us. It's in abundance. And now we're on essential oils, and I'm sorry how fuzzy this looks. I couldn't find a better list and that wasn't fuzzy, but the top essential oils that come forth from the earth, that now we're on more of the side that like foods, medicines that is not technically for consumption. Essential oils is used for bodily purposes, in inhaling, and other purposes outside of eating. We went over so much good things from we can take in our bodies by consuming through our mouths. Now we're touching on things that's more on inhaling, skin, hair, and so on. We have lavender oil, help with anxiety, insomnia, treat acne, relieves itchy bug bites. And yet you can put this in your bath. You can massage it in your skin. Peppermint relieves sore muscles, headaches, improves your skin, treats congestion. Here's a biblical one. Frankincense help with your gut. Gut health. Good for hair. Trying to read it. It's all blurry. But obviously, guys, you can take these and research them yourself, right? Like I said, this isn't the end all. If you're like, this is fuzzy, guess what? Search it. Because the list goes on. The list goes on. These essential oils, grapefruit, eucalyptus, etc., etc. The list goes on. Search out these oils. If you have skin issue, hair issue, you'd be surprised. There's so many good things that come forth from the earth that Abba has provided. You don't just consume and eat it. You also put it on your body, one way or another. Search it out. Also oregano. Oregano is a powerful oil. Aids digestion, clean, supports joint function, supports healthy cholesterol, cleanses skin, supports heart wellness. Then we get to castor oil. Anti-inflammatory qualities. Relieves arthritis, smooths joint pains. I mean, there's so many good things that come forth from the earth that you should do your research on before you go and buy something from the store that is a prescription or over the counter or that has a bunch of ingredients that look suspect, that look like they were made in a lab. And you even be surprised. A lot of even the prescription or over-the-counter drugs or ointments will have like castor oil in it. They'll have a component from the earth to headline a healing property of the ointment, but the rest of it's toxic. All you needed was the castor oil, but you wanted to get this ointment with castor oil. And that's what I mean. Do your homework. Search for a holistic from the earth remedy. All the way to tinctures. Tinctures are made of many menstruums. Menstruums is what pull the holistic chemical compounds from the herb, such as glycerin, vinegar, alcohol. That's what helps pull the component from the herb to make it into a component that you can drink or put on your skin. Tinctures extract a wide range of phytochemicals, which is, like I said, it's the chemical compounds found in a plant. Tinctures are more potent than herbal infusions. Tinctures can be non-alcoholic, such as glycerin and vinegar. Tinctures are convenient to use and can remain shelf-stable for years. Yes, tinctures are one of the few things that last years that are, from the earth. Tinctures make taking nasty tasting herbs a bit easier and are an easy way to get your herbs in. Yes, you can, because if you take like an herb and you want to make it into a tea, a lot of these herbs can be real nasty. Real nasty to drink a full cup of tea. Instead, you could literally make that herb into a tincture using a mistrum and have it in a jar, a mason jar with the mistrum for 6 weeks. And in 6 weeks, it will be a concentrated form of the chemical compounds that the purpose of why you need the herb into a dripper bottle, such as these. These are become set apart. These are the 4 that I do. You have echinacea, can support immune, cold, flu, and excess mucus. Motherwort, menstrual cycle, menopause, and reduces anxiety. Valerian, these are all herbs. Valerian, restful sleep, stress, muscle tension, and burdock root. Organ health, liver function, and cleanses the blood. And you'll see these over and over again because they're powerful what they do. And this is just expounding on what these are: the burdock root, echinacea, and even dandelions. Dandelions is one of the many weeds that are actually holistic. It's so upside down. We buy Roundup to kill dandelion weeds that actually removes toxins from the body and kills cancer cells while spraying cancer that can kill us, your children, and your animals. Make it make sense. We're in an upside down world. And dandelion is totally edible. It can be a bitter, you can literally use, because dandelions grow in the spring, right in the time of Passover. Dandelions can be your bitter herb that you use for your Passover meal. And look at all the benefits that is going to be on your plate. And the entirety of the dandelions are edible. You can straight up, before they become a white puff, you can straight up take the yellow flower, the leaves, and pop it in your mouth. Not bad at all. A little bitter, but that's because it's a bitter herb. Oops. Wanted to do a shout out to the elderberry. It's a few, I think there's at least a couple in this fellowship that makes elderberry combination. These are all immune boosting, and there's all these different ways. You have the syrup, jam, cough drops, gummies, so many different ways to use and intake elderberry. Once again, I'm showing these things so it's a reference to go back if you never heard of it, and you take your notes to start having an idea of all the things that can be good for your well-being. But it would help, though, you getting this book that I'm about to show you. And then this is another one of just herbs that can help your sleep. And we see valerian. Like I said, you will see that again. Valerian, lemon balm, we have that. I mean, lavender, we touched on lavender. See, anxiety, rest well, ease the stress. All of these are herbs. And I highly recommend this book right here. The book gives so much information on herbal remedies. You can say, I have abdominal pain. And that's what I'm saying. You could go to this before the doctor and all of that. I'm saying if you've done all of this and you haven't had it work, go get a second opinion. But it'll take you to pages of herbs and remedies that help with abdominal pain. And the list goes on. I mean, you can look up cancer. It'll tell you herbs that helps detox your body from cancer cells. Allergies. I mean, this is in alphabetical order. And I also want to show you that I have this book available on my website here, let me show you this if you want to check it out. But I don't want you to depend on the link on my website. I want you to invest and get you a hard copy, okay? You do not know what tomorrow may bring. And if you can't get access to online, you want something that can guide you outside. But let's go to my website just so I can show you. If you want to check this out, you go to Learning Academy. The downloadables and the herbal book. You click it, it'll take you to this Dropbox link here. And look at this. Look at this. This is the entirety of the book. Oh, gotta load, gotta load. Trying to move it too fast. The entirety of the book. Look at all that. So if you want to check it out before you buy it, or you just want to have it for online purposes, there you go. Highly recommend it. I love it. It's a very good source. Now let's just talk about environmental things that Abba has given us that we don't even need to go out and buy. It's free, completely free. Malachi 4:2. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings. And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. So the Son comes forth with healing in his wings. Sunlight, what people think it does, people always, you got to get your source of vitamin D, but it goes so much deeper than that. The sun gives an abundance of wellness to your body when it's done properly. Obviously, don't cook yourself in the sun, right? Don't overexpose yourself in the sun, but getting outside in sunlight is good. Because just 20 minutes of sunshine per day triggers your body to release over 200 antimicrobials that fight fungi, parasites, and viruses. And then we have plants in the environment that we live in, or we can buy plants for the home. Plants to grow indoors for air purification. All of these, and right there, bedroom plants for purification. I gotta get me a snake plant for my room. Been meaning to get one, but just haven't got one yet. Aloe vera plant is also good. You pop one of those off. You take the gel, you can put that on wounds. You can literally put that in your hair. I mean, it blows my mind just how much use you can get from everything. Abba didn't hold back, and we're not even using half of it. We're not using half of it. We really, to honor the Most High, the least we could do is use all this abundance of goodness he's given to us. So much. Even walking on the ground barefooted, which we call grounding. The health benefits of grounding, which walking barefoot on soil, grass, or any natural surface. All the benefits: boost energy levels, regulate nervous system, strengthens the immune system, relieves muscle tension, headache, can improve sleep. I mean, unbelievable. Even the type of water we use. There's benefits for showering in cold water versus hot water. Cold waters can stimulate immune system, tighten skin, accelerate metabolism. Hot water can help your muscles relax, cleanses your pores, reduces anxiety. Unbelievable, all the goodness that's naturally in the environment that is completely free for the most part. Even to mouth care. They're like, I remember first coming into the truth, you know, people are like, oh, you know, after you say the toothpaste is bad, which I think is the next slide. Yeah, the toothpaste, all this mainstream toothpaste is so bad. And the fluoride, don't get nothing with fluoride in it. And then just like anything, you go, so what do I do then? Like, what if okay, toothpaste, the fluorides and everything, what do I do? And this is what this story is about. It's to give you an idea of what to do or what to buy when you get bombarded with all of this. And we have coconut oil pool. I actually forgot to add it. I meant to add a picture of the coconut oil I use for my pooling. Do that at least a few times a week. But coconut oil pooling can help whiten teeth, detoxes the body, reduces headaches, increases energy, clears sinuses, reduces inflammation, kills bacteria that causes bad breath, and improves quality of sleep. And it's a better source than your mouthwash. So get rid of your mouthwash. You don't need it. Use your coconut oil. Literally, just get a spoon of coconut oil, wash it around in your mouth. You want to keep it in your mouth at least a minimum of like 3 minutes, all the way up to like 10 minutes. And but there are bottles that has coconut oil already, easier to just drink, because it is a little tough to do that with regular coconut oil. But hey, you have things like this miswak stick toothbrush. I have this. This is very unique, but this is a form of cleaning teeth. And then if you want to stay with your toothbrush and toothpaste, there is healthier options, as we see below here, to list a few. Like I said, across the board, there is an alternative that is better than what you have been given from mainstream. And if I haven't said this yet, anything with the commercial, anything that is top of the line brand, don't buy it. Ever. Ever. You said, see my teeth? There's our teeth. Our teeth's all right. But what I do personally, I ain't gonna lie, I rarely do this miswak stick. It is an option I have, but I stick to the oil pulling and just having a healthy toothpaste and toothbrush. I oil pull and then I brush my teeth after. That's what I do. Yeah, charcoal powder, that stuff's messy though. That's why we don't do the charcoal stuff. It's just so messy. And like I mentioned before about alkaline and making sure if you are looking to detox and you just woke up to the truth, or it's time to get rid of the toxins, you want to put yourself in an alkaline state. You want to focus on only really high level products. And you want to put in these high level products that we are seeing in front of us: dandelion, burdock root, turmeric. I mean, the list goes on. We looked at the benefits of ginger earlier, the aloe vera plant I mentioned, echinacea. All of these things is going to help you detox your body. So don't just be like, oh, what do I do? You can look into the book. Search, do your due diligence. Start in taking things and buying things that is going to help you detox while taking in alkaline fruits and vegetables, eating less meat, less processed food, and taking less sugar. And let's talk about fasting, which has physical and spiritual benefits. Let's get into the details. And as John writes, I pray that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health as it goes well with your soul. Let's go over 8 health benefits of fasting for the physical body. Promotes blood sugar control. Your body is better at fighting inflammation. Improved heart health and blood pressure. Brain function. Weight loss and metabolism boosting. Yes, fasting promotes weight loss in Psalms 109:24. Increases growth hormone. Delays aging. And it aids cancer prevention. And if you adjust your diet properly from eating carcinogens that are in preservatives, you will never even get to chemotherapy. You wouldn't need it. But overall, family, we need to eliminate the processed foods, the hybrids, the GMO foods, eat organic fruits and vegetables with seeds, which has a positive and not a negative effect on your mucous membrane. Anything without a seed is foreign, created in a laboratory. And you know that the scriptures confirm this in Genesis 1:29. Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in thee which is the fruit of tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. So if it comes from a seed, it should produce seeds, or it's GMO. So by no surprise, Ahaya created our body to be a self-healing organism. The purpose of afflicting one's soul through a spiritual fast is to make your flesh less so your spirit can now lead, which greatens our spiritual connection with our Creator. And this is backed up by Scripture. When I wept, I humbled my soul with fasting. I turned my face to the Most High, seeking Him by prayer and pleas for mercy with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And if you're returning to Him in repentance, yet even now declares the Most High, return to me with all your heart, with fasting, with weeping, and with mourning. Before making a very big decision in your life, maybe you will want to fast on it. They appointed the elders for them in every church with prayer and fasting. They committed them to Ahaya, in whom they had blessed. You can have a community fast or do it alone. And believe it or not, we're actually commanded to fast at least once a year on Day of Atonement. So how to properly do a spiritual fast? Abstain from food and don't drink anything other than water. And during the fast, dedicate more time to the Most High. If you're not able to do a water fast, you can also do a Daniel's fast, which can give glory to the Most High as well. Here's a good guide for that fast. And make sure to break your fast with something healthy. And if you're fasting for Him, the world doesn't need to know. Just don't fast on the Sabbath. Disregard Jubilee's verse. And also, we have our dry fast. Dry fast is probably the most accurate biblical fast. And so a combination of detoxing using herbs, oils, plants, fruits from nature itself to help us detox, we can literally stop eating as well. And we see that the many benefits of fasting, and when you the autophagy maxes out when you do a fast of not eating any food for at least 72 hours. That's 3 days. You will maximize what your body can detox. As we see throughout this entire fast, that's exactly what your body's doing. It's a natural detox, cleansing, that your blood sugars fall. The insulin is no longer produced. So things that come forth from what you eat is removed and burned. And after that, your body starts healing itself. It ramps up on burning fat. Your natural human growth hormone starts to skyrocket. Your glycogen storage, ketones are released in the bloodstream, and all of these things help your body heal, recover, recoup, and ups your immune system, especially if you are trying to rid something from your body. The most underused medical tools: fasting, sunlight, sleep, being in nature, eating real food, exercise, heat and cold, as I even showed you with water. Heat and cold water can manipulate what desire you're getting from it. Salt, magnesium, earthing or grounding. All right, so in all these things, there's been an underlining of the devil, of the enemy, why things are so toxic. So this is how we're going to finish this study. We're going to just touch on why things are so screwed up and why we can't trust anything and why we need to do our due diligence and how things came about, just so you know and have a understanding on why you do not care what the FDA has to say. Because 2 Corinthians 11:14, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. And the angel of light is the EPA, the FDA, the politicians signing off on the regulations of our food and any type of intake of water. That's these angels of light that we think we should trust. They're trying to help us, but they're not. They're actually sabotaging us. So we are to be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. This is one of those times. You don't read this verse and think, hey, we need to be sober and vigilant about like trusting the FDA and eating what we eat in our food, but this goes line in line with that. This is important. And there's a reason why the devil did so much work to establish this system to poison us, because it matters. Because these angels of light are to never be trusted, such as doctors wearing those white coats, so-called experts like Dr. Fauci, Bill Gates, and other scientists. All have said all of these things that have proven to be toxic nowadays to be good and recommended. Then actors, musicians, athletes, politicians, scientists, doctors, all in the same boat. They all been offered the world as Mashiach has been in Matthew 4, and they took the money to make a commercial because they don't care about you or me. So don't trust their science. Trust the Most High's word in what have been created for us already on earth.
Excuse me. Thank you. Sorry, like this is. Let's keep wrong. Potassium bromate. This supermarket is trying to kill us. You. Potassium bromate. Do you know what that is? Are you okay, sir? It is known to induce renal cell tumors, mesotheliomas of the peritoneum. Can I call someone for you? Call someone. You know what you're putting into our bodies. Death. Delicious strawberry flavor. Okay, I'm calling security. Yeah.
So they put this in this TV show. I can't remember what this TV show's called, but this man that's educated reads the ingredients list, the same thing I'm telling you to do. And in 95% of things that are in containers, you can have a reaction just as he did. There's something in there that can lead to death. tumors, blood clots, cancer. The truth is in plain sight. And the list is endless. They're in the labs as we speak right now, making up new chemicals to put in your food that makes it taste better to our taste buds, sweeter, lasts longer, and it's poison. Real quick, while this is going, this is all my pictures, guys. This is when I went to the store. I went to the store and I just like that guy did. Oops, just like that guy did in the video. I went and took a picture of literally everything from every different aisle. Amy was there with me. And I was like, there's something on every single one of these ingredients that's toxic. And so this is just a video of just all of it. Every single thing you see has something toxic in it that can lead to something that can be negative on your health or straight up can kill you. That's what we're looking at here. So yeah, it's just very sad, the state of our grocery stores, and just every shelf can be summarized in this right here. If you eat the standard American diet, which is what I'm showing you, what is the standard in any grocery store, and live the standard American lifestyle, don't be surprised when you get the standard American diseases. Because 90%, I say more than 90%. This is just something I found online. I say 95, minimum. 95% of food in supermarkets today didn't even exist 100 years ago, because new food is fake GMO food. You can't just make something in a lab and call it food when it's made up of chemical compounds that aren't natural to our bodies. And just a couple of the points when we look at ingredients, and even in medicine, inactive ingredients is pretty much the ingredients in the medicine that isn't a part of the actual medicine, but it's still what you are consuming. And just off top, we see these food colorings. We're going to touch on that in a second. Not saying that it's the only toxic things, but it's just unbelievable of why do we need food coloring in what's supposed to be medicine? You think anybody cares if this is pink or not? Nobody cares. Even in cereal, trisodium phosphate is paint thinner. Literally, it's for paint. This is what happens when you look at the ingredients. It's very, very quickly when you start knowing the terminology and the certain things or words that look like it's made in a lab. Look at this. Red number 22. That sounds like it was made in a lab, because it was. It's crazy. And the list is growing. There was a long list of chemicals you should never have to read, but it's going to be in all these foods and boxes that's processed. And so what would be faster, learning all of these ingredients and to look out for these ingredients when they're constantly manipulating the nutrition labels, or would it be easier for you to eat less processed foods so you won't have to read all of these ingredients? Once you get used to this, and in the beginning, it's going to be hard. You get your Fujicate app, you scan, you're trying to learn. But after a while, you'll know that this whole aisle, I'm not touching. There's nothing I can get from a lot of the foods that's in the grocery store. Us that's in the truth, that want to do better for ourselves outside of eating clean or unclean meat, we want to stay away from GMOs and carcinogens, a substance capable of causing cancer in living tissue, which is the majority of the byproduct that comes with GMOs. That's what they do. They bring chemical compounds that causes cancer in our bodies. If we want to do better, then I'm sorry to say 95% of the foods and groceries, any grocery store, you're not going to be able to buy outside of the produce. And that's just the cold hard truth. Only way you're going to find these labels is if you keep trying to shop in aisles that have highly processed, bad, unhealthy foods in it. That's just what it is. If you're struggling, saying, oh my gosh, I'm trying to shop, but all this stuff's unhealthy. Yeah, because you're still trying to shop everything in boxes. You're still trying to shop foods that are highly processed. That's the problem. Because we've been sabotaged into believe that we have an abundance of ways that we can eat and be healthy, and that's just not what it is. So when you see things in labels that says natural, healthy, low sugar, low fat, that don't matter. None of that matters. It's gimmick. Read the label, scan it, see what's in it. That's where the power of understanding what you're eating comes from. What's in it, not what the label says, how healthy it is. All right. I'm going to have some quick summary here on GMOs. Like I said, just think it's important for everybody to understand the base of this. Knowledge is power. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So let's learn. This is straight up from the Fujicate app. You see, this is an article from 2016. 20 years of GMO, false promises and dirty tricks. Genetically modified organisms, GMOs, have been part of American food supply for over 20 years. While Europe mostly rejected GMOs, U.S. regulators, EPA, FDA, were more than happy to welcome genetically modified corn, soy, rapeseed into the food supply. So how did GMOs rise to such prominence in the U.S. while at the same time being shunned across the Atlantic? There are two main points. One, GMOs were going to increase crop yields because they were supposedly more resistant to pests. This did not happen. The yields of farms with GMO crops have grown at the same pace as traditional farms. So they lied about the crop yields. Two, GMOs were going to decrease the use of pesticides, more specifically glyphosate. This is a weed killer that has been identified by the World Health Organization as a carcinogen, cancer-causing chemical. Not only did the use of glyphosate decrease when using GMOs, it actually grew. Add to this that the fact that GMOs have not been proven safe for humans in long-term studies, and you can understand why there is a very big swath of population that is opposed to this technology. In further assault on integrity, the studies that found GMOs safe were almost always conducted by the biotechnology companies that developed them. The FDA and the USDA has been collaborating for decades with corporations that created GMO seeds because in the US, business interests trump all, including human health. And we're going to, that point, this is what the rest of this we're looking at. Just how big of scum that we are in Babylon here in America. America is the worst, most toxic country in the world. First, we're just seeing that cancer in itself is a man-made disease. The ancients didn't suffer from cancer like we do. Research indicates only 5% of cancers are hereditary. And then right here, the first cause of cancer we see was in 1775, and this was with chimney sweeps because of them inhaling what was in chimneys caused cancer. And so that was an environmental thing. But we see that it is rare when it is only based on environmental, like work practices, when you're in mine caves or chimneys. These are environmental cancers, but it was still very rare even 300 years ago. And as we see here, cancer is a modern and man-made disease caused by environmental factors such as pollution and diet. A study Manchester scientists have strongly suggested. And that's because mostly from diet, because if it was only environmental, we would have minimal cancers. But it is diet and what we put on our bodies with preservatives. And this is what we're going to focus on when we put on our bodies, the preservatives. Where there's water in a product, a preservative is necessary to prevent growth of mold, bacteria, and other microorganisms. Not all preservatives are made equal for our health. And we're going to touch on the preservatives that we put on our body. I mean, this page is just crazy looking. All of what we're looking at is poison. All of it. The type of shampoos and the chemicals that's mostly in shampoos, eyeshadow, makeup, foundation, lipstick, perfume, body lotion, tan, oil or cream, nail polish, deodorant, eye blush, hairspray. Every single one of these things, the majority of the mainstream products, if not all of them, because a lot of these things you shouldn't be caking on your face and your body. They all have negative compounds, toxic compounds, ingredients, a part of the formula. And then when you even we look at PEG 150 side effects. I mean, we see, once again, leukemia, breast cancer, brain cancer. Why is that so obvious? This is in shampoo. Shampoo. And where is shampoo going to be at most of the time? Your body, your hair. So you have breast cancer, brain cancer. You're literally rubbing it in your scalp. How obvious could it be? BHT, BHA, cancer. That's what I'm saying. These are carcinogens, GMOs. Majority of GMOs are carcinogens. And if they're not technically cancer, it will be blood clots. It will be heart disease. It will be something else that can kill you. Sunscreen. I mean, the list goes on. The point of this is not for you to learn all of these ingredients. There's more ingredients in GMOs than your mind can take. I don't even want you to waste that time. The point is to spend more time looking for essential oils, and creams that are more naturally made. That you can do the same thing and to not use foundation and all of this chemical-based makeup like that in general anyway. I understand, we'll put a little bit, need to touch it up, but, we not only want to find something that's healthier, but we also want to make sure we're not being vain. Because all of this is vanity, outside of just the soap, right? To cleanse ourselves. A lot of this, what we're looking at is vanity. So that's a sin too, y'all. Yes, this goes through our skin that has open pores. It's the same way, a different way for it to enter our bodies. And just singling out perfume, cologne, perfume, or the term fragrance on the ingredients list represents a complex mixture of dozens of chemicals. Some 3,000 chemicals are used in fragrances. It's unbelievable. It's unregulated. So the majority of air fresheners, no more. Don't get them unless you know it's natural. But you won't really find any natural air fresheners. The best bet is to find natural candles, but you gotta watch out. Candles can be highly toxic as well. The two that we found for our home, you can find natural spray fresheners and natural candles. These little plug-ins, I doubt you'll be able to find any natural plug-in fragrances. And I want to say this, when we're looking for these type of deals, the two things I would say is shop locally, like we talk about shopping at local farms, shop locally, small businesses that are, and small businesses will let you know that this is what they're about. Look for small businesses in your communities that are about the product and they're made with love. And then if you don't have anything about a particular small business in your community, go on Etsy. Etsy is a great source for small businesses that makes candles, that makes plenty of soap, shampoos, etc., lotions that are natural for your body. You do not want to, if you have to find the best product in stores, it ain't going to beat the best product, a natural product from a small business. It's not. To know that it's not made in a lab and mass production by a bunch of people that's clocking in, that you want to go made with someone's real hands for a small business with essential oils, herbs, with love and attention and care. This is what you want when you're looking up these type of products for your body. And body wash, just giving options to refer back to if you are seeking worse, bad, better, best for where you're at and what you can get your hands on. Same thing with deodorants. The main ingredient in deodorant that's toxic is aluminum. Aluminum should not be on your body. It's very toxic. There's plenty of choices, and even spray. Or I've seen people use lemon method, and there's a lot of alternatives that you could do outside of mainstream. Like, look at all these mainstream names: Arm & Hammer, Old Spice. Yuck. Same thing with what you wash your dishes with. Get healthier soap across the board. And what I spoke on this earlier, anything that is bleached white is toxic, including your toilet tissue. So no toxic chemicals in our paper. And this is referred to plant paper, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, when you go to the store, if you can find unbleached paper towels, napkins, whatever you get, that's better. But most importantly, boy, the tissue that you're gonna rub on your body, let's not get that bleach. You don't want to be rubbing bleach on those body parts, right? This is the one that I ordered myself. I can vouch for this one. It seems legit across the board. Called plant paper. And now we were talking about GMOs in what cosmetic products. Now we're going to just specify the GMOs of process. This is group 3 and 4. Group 1 and 2. 2 is just the process of making group 1 ready to be cooked with culinary ingredients. Group 3 and 4. Processed foods. Kind of bad, but you can find some decent stuff here. And then there's group 4, which very, very toxic, red flags across the board. Canola oil. Carcinogen to the extreme. Here's all the bad stuff on it. Very toxic oil. Obviously, GMO. Scroll down. Look at this. Health concerns, retarded growth, increased risk of developing cancer. Watch out for your oils, heart disease. Keep it going. Brain function. Hypertension and strokes. Is this for real? This is sold in grocery stores. This is proven. Compromises our detox organs, which is why it can give you cancer. It doesn't allow you to detox the toxins, so it allows it to build up and cause cancer. Then it gets on alternatives, which I put the good oils we talked about earlier. But canola oil, by far, you run as far as you can. Never consume anything with canola oil. But even pure vegetable oil, blended oils, corn oil, those other seed that are not these. Watch out. Very toxic GMOs that are man-made. Soybean, we're about to touch on that. Food coloring. I mentioned that when we were looking at the Pepto-Bismol. Food coloring. They are made in a lab with chemicals derived from crude oil. Used in gasoline, diesel fuel, asphalt, and tar. Wow, think about that. Artificial food dyes. Petroleum approved by the FDA. Yes, the FDA approves food dye. And look at all of what each food dye does to us. What about, when I said carcinogens, cancer. Tumors. The worst. And let's remember, this is only America. Because the FDA panel keeps voting in favor of artificial food dyes. We're literally dying for the color of our food. The European panel used let me see. Yes, this is just the voting of the panel for food dyes, and we see that they use beetroot red. They use beets for the coloring of red. We use red number 40. I can't even make this up. Yellow number 6, blue number 1. And they use real plants to get their food colored. And this is what we use for ours. And it's not just with that, just with basic Doritos from Australia and from UK, the difference between ours and theirs, we just have like, Doritos is unhealthy in any spectrum as we see the red flags, but ours is like double the worst with the extra food coloring and whatnot. This is why we have to read our instructions even more so even than in other countries. And we see here that they say all of their ingredients are non-GMO, but there's that canola oil. For whatever reason, soybeans and canola oil are not flagged as GMO according to government standards. And this is how it's possible, because we're in a grocery chain monopoly. All the leading brand, this is why I tell you, if it got a commercial and if it's a leading brand, stay away from it. They force buyouts from all these smaller companies, and they change the ingredients and makes it toxic. And this is just a survey video of showing you how all these different products are under the same umbrella of brands. Wow. Ain't that something? What did I say? I said like 95% of the store. Now, outside of produce, we just witnessed 95% in the store, and it was owned by what? 6 companies? 6, maybe 7 websites. You literally go to the website and they say all of their products. This is the entire grocery store is owned by like 6 businesses. It's a monopoly of the corporate businesses that produce these products and the FDA working together to poison us. That's why there's no diversity in these businesses. Because it's not supposed to be. If you're going to make it on these stores, on these counters in the stores, you're not going to make it if you're a small business unless you're bought out or they're not going to allow you to make it because they don't want a bunch of SE shops on the aisles with good products and healthy for the public to have healthy options. And I'm showing you this because all you got to do is do a little bit of research. And there's plenty of people already outing it right here. We see organicconsumers.org. Monsanto's man in the Obama administration. Can't make this up. Let's read this real quick. President Obama to oppose the appointment of former Monsanto's. Monsanto's is the company that owns glyphosate. The GMO glyphosate in Monsanto's is the same. And this is particularly focusing on a Obama candidacy or presidency time frame where a Monsanto's lobbyist, Michael Taylor, as the senior advisor to the FDA. I can't make this up. They are hiring the people that worked for Monsanto's to run the FDA. Food safety. Goes over some details. Yet what has slipped under everyone's radar screen is Taylor's involvement in setting U.S. policy on agriculture assistance in Africa. And I just wanted to read here, in inclusion with Rockefeller and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. We have Monsanto's, Obama, Rockefeller, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in one article. It has everything to do about what we put into our bodies. And that's what this study is about. This is how important it is. The devil is pulling out all stops. The president, Bill Gates, Rockefeller, Monsanto's, the origin of mainstream GMO is due to Monsanto's. Glyphosate are all working together throughout the entire world to help everyone's well-being, regulating food and GMOs. This is why we have to do our own due diligence. Because this world is fallen. From another article, The Revolving Door, FDA and the Monsanto's company expounding on what we just read a little bit. And I just clicked the webpage just to show y'all if y'all want to read more into it. Just another source of just all of this. Just more of how the Michael R. Taylor being in between Monsanto's, FDA, and how he's not the only one, as we see here. Other Monsanto's alumni include these 3 that all are commissioned at one point with the FDA. None of this information is hidden. And by doing this, this is the result you get from FDA.gov. They literally say a GMO apple is as safe as a non-GMO apple. These are your teachers. If you are allowing the American government to teach you, these are the regulators. The regulators are those that are creating the GMOs, is going to be the ones telling you the GMOs are healthy, is what's happening. And once again, just going more in depth of the Monsantos, there was a court case, a landmark court case in Monsantos, which was acquired by the German Bayer AG. This is the people of, what was it, aspirin, I believe, one of those medicines, was told to pay $290 million in damages to a 46-year-old Dwayne Johnson, a California-based groundskeeper who claimed he had become terminally ill, leukemia, cancer, due to the exposure of Roundup active ingredient glyphosate. And as we read earlier, glyphosate is everywhere since the 90s. It's a pesticide that's killing America. And it has been proven, even in court now, not just in labs and where people test the difference of people consuming pesticides from glyphosate that we watched earlier. This is even in court that's been proven that glyphosate from Monsanto's is a carcinogen. And once again, just another article of all of what glyphosate brings to your body, to your dinner plate, to your tummy. Glyphosate promotes the growth of those cells and causes tumors to grow faster. Unbelievable. And expounding more on different GMOs, we have artificial sweeteners. And what they do is they go from one artificial sweetener made in a lab. Once it is proven to be toxic, they ban it, and then they start another one. Then they ban it, they start another one. And now things can be called aspartame free, but now we're on sucralose, which is another version of a carcinogen artificial sweetener. And it's because people don't want to let it go. You can't have something sweet without real calories, real sugar. If you want an artificial sweetener, you're going to get an artificial effect for your body, which is cancerous. If you're going to want to have something with 0 calories, then it's poisonous. That's what it is. And I'm going to tell y'all, me and my wife, we used to be in the bodybuilding scene. And bodybuilding is so toxic. It's nothing to do with health. It's all to do with manipulating your body with whatever you can get your hands on. Sugar-free, artificial sweeteners, 0 fat. That's what you look for. And every time you buy something like that, it's killing you slowly. But it's not limited to just a few of these oils, sugars, glyphosate. These are all of the hazardous chemicals, just some of them. There's way more than this, but the FDA keeps approving. That's all killing us. Now, I think we got the point by now. It's not about learning every chemical the FDA approves that's carcinogen, that's negative. It's the fact of learning to live without touching products that these that the labels, the nutrition labels would even have on them. I haven't even seen a grip of these for a while because I don't shop in those aisles anymore. That's the purpose of these studies, to don't shop for things that will have these ingredients on it. I'm telling you, 5% of the grocery store is all you have to pick from. And now even with fake meat, Beyond Meat, and Impossible Foods, these are two fake vegan meats, which receives FDA approval for bleeding plant burgers. The FDA approved something else that's toxic. Oh, what a surprise. What a surprise at this point. And just cutting to the point of it, we have Impossible Burger, one of the two, and Beyond the two. And we see Impossible Burger has a ton of glyphosate in it. And we already know, we just read on what glyphosate brings to the table. And Beyond Burger has a ton of canola oil in it. And a lot of this meat is soy meat. Let's look at the benefits, or the toxic nature of soy. Anything, if you see soy oil, soy sauce, soybeans, contains blood clot promoting, red cell count. It's GMO, which I don't know how for some reason, some things sell organic, non-GMO soy beans. That don't make any sense. List goes on. I mean, there's that aluminum again. And why? It's because it's not real food. Alzheimer's, nervous system. It's not real food. And just, we already saw the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation being tied with Monsanto's. Gates Foundation ties with Monsanto's. We see, and we just read on all this fake food. Bill Gates with Impossible Burger. Bill Gates with Beyond Meat. Bill Gates owns 275,000 acres of U.S. farmland. Dr. Death himself, Mr. Jab. Don't buy anything that this man touches, right? They're showing you what they are. This stuff is not hidden. Look at this. All of this is basic research. Just put it together and put a bow on it for you. Stay away from it. It's never real food. And the fact that he's buying up all this land is not for us to have more farmland. It's for him to control our food, which they already have a grip on, but they're trying to finish the job on us, aren't they? And then they use tactics such as even color. As Spoon University points out, red attracts attention. It speeds up the body's blood flow. When the blood flow is increased to the digestive system, it speeds up your metabolism and makes you hungry. So the colors red, orange, and yellow make you hungry. This is known as ketchup and mustard theory. These colors make the perfect visual and psychological companionship for making us hungry and wanting to eat. Hence, everything is that deep. It really is that deep. And they want to pull you to these restaurants to give you this fake food and to even give you meat that's not even from the animal they're advertising. This is a warning for those that have been awakened to the truth that we should be keeping the food laws that is found in Leviticus 11. That states in verse 46 and 47, this is the law about beast and bird and every living creature that moves through the waters and every creature that swarms on the ground, to make a distinction between the unclean and the clean, and between the living creature that may be eaten and the living creature that may not be eaten. So let me ask you this, how can we keep this food law if we don't know what we're consuming? Let me show you.
As in 2,000-pound boxes from a slaughterhouse. Mixed together by the ton.
This is the combo bin of approximately meat that's coming from a boning facility where they take it off the carcass and put it into here.
These boxes comes from many different animals and many different places.
And yes, you heard that right. Grounded beef is from many different animals in many different places, at least in the big markets. And it doesn't stop at animal meat. Human meat found in McDonald's meat factory, even with KFC, posted a picture of this beast that is actually Saturn eating out of their KFC bucket, which is a painting of Saturn or Kronos eating his son, a person. I wonder what they're trying to tell us. Oh, but it doesn't stop there. This is all throughout our grocery stores in the most popular brands that you love. Pause the screen to read all of the details of the products that may have dead fetal cells in the ingredients. And once again, pause to read. Let's read more about this food additive called Cinnamix. Reading from this article, it clearly tells us that Cinnamix, which has the dead fetal cells in it, won't be listed separately on ingredients labels, but will be a part of the broad category of artificial flavors. And if you look on most processed packaging, all of them have that label right there. But it's safe. It's completely safe because they will only use tiny quantities. But here's the catch. It's in everything. These major brands own everything in the grocery store that is at least in packages processed foods. Because if you don't know, more than 90% of the food in grocery stores nowadays didn't even exist 100 years ago because they're GMO. They're genetic modified organisms. It's fake food. Because we simply can't trust the FDA, big corporations. We have to take a step back and start simplifying what we eat. Because they can be literally feeding us anything. See what I mean? And they put the truth in movies all the time to prevent us to keep his laws, statutes, and commandments like this clip right here. It's time to start checking everything we consume, even our wine, because it possibly could contain gelatin. Use this website or app Barnivore to see if it's vegan made or not. So buy organic. All right. Yeah, a little repetitive. It's a good recap. And that video is a good summary of why we were showing all the brands being one big monopoly. And so it only, instead of trying to get a bunch of small businesses on the same dirty, devilish plan of putting toxic chemicals and people in our food, all you got to do is just get 5 major corporations and you got the entire grocery store, right? And Soylent Green is people. I think it's funny they use soy as a part of the title for fake food. All right, now coming to a close, we're doing miscellaneous things I haven't covered yet, which is one is cookware. Non-stick is toxic. We want to go for cast iron, glass, stainless steel. Same here, carbon steel, cast iron, and yep, just basic pictures for everyone to look for better options for cooking. And this goes all the way to heating up our food. Stop using microwaves. Microwaves were never good. It's a radioactive box that chemically alters your food. And it also is proven to make them carcinogenic based on how it's being cooked. You're pumping a bunch of radioactive wave compounds into the food. It's just not good. So if you want to do an air fryer to replace it, this ain't the type of air fryer you want to get. You don't want to get an air fryer that has like a nonstick pan. Like, it's the same idea of cooking in a nonstick pan. You don't want to get air fryers that have that. So the best option outside of if you want something quicker to cook things outside of using an oven or a skillet, stovetop, these are the air fryers you should use. You should use an air fryer that's stainless steel or that is glass. This is actually the one that we have at home. These would be the best options if you're looking for some type of smaller oven / air fryer.
Found an article on vsynchro.com. This person measured the EMF radiation coming from these AirPods. Apple AirPods produce the highest EMF intensity.
Head over to bioinitiative.org for all the studies that show how low frequency EMF
and EMF frequencies that come forth from that microwave. You could be putting them on your face. You got to watch out for your phone. When I talk on the phone, I try to use speakerphone. I'll be in the grocery store. I don't even care. I don't try to put my phone on my face. Your phone can relay a ton of EMF waves to your face, can cause a tumor, cancerous side effects to your body. So you don't want to have your phone in your face a lot. And if you can, there is like little stickers you can put on your phone that can help with the radioactive waves, energy coming forth from it. You can also wear necklaces. You can have little, I think, copper wires you can even put around your home. There's a lot of different ways you can help with the radio frequency going through your home. And detoxing and fasting can also rid your body from EMF, harmful radiation. And turning off your phone, putting your phone, turning off your phone, or putting your phone on airplane mode when you go to bed and don't have it so close to your head will help minimize, if not, don't use Bluetooth headphones. And etc. Do your homework. Make sure you're doing your best to not make your home an environment that is filled with EMF waves that can be toxic for your family. Like even your modem, your Wi-Fi, like make sure it's in a corner of a room that isn't where someone sleeps or whatnot. You'd be surprised how many different things you can even buy something online. The trackers that you can test and track the EMF waves coming from certain products in certain parts of your home as well. So you can buy certain things that can help block those harmful frequencies coming from them. Is Bluetooth bad in the car? I mean, it's probably a little bad. I mean, but I feel like as long as it's not near right up on your body, then it's something that you're just going to have to deal with because that's what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. You're going to get a little bit of frequency coming from anything. Anything that, like I said, internet, Wi-Fi, cell phone, you're going to have some type of EMF coming from it, which is why, you know, people wear certain things or have stuff in position to be a shield from those waves, frequencies. As it says here, radio frequency is mostly used in communication devices. So yeah, any of these things, yeah, when you're using it, there's gonna be a frequency waves coming forth from it that are toxic. So we just got to minimize it to the best of our ability. And lastly, the clothes that we wear as well. Yes, polyester is 90% of your favorite brands. And here's how it's harming you. Polyester is plastic. It's synthetic. When you wear it, your body is absorbing microplastics as well as toxic chemicals through the skin. Yes, even your workout clothes. Polyester, plastic clothing that harms you. So this scientific details of the linen frequency is more than just focusing on the linen and the mixed fabrics. But let's read it real quick. A Jewish doctor on the frequencies of fabric. According to this study, the human body has a signature frequency of 100 and the organic cotton is the same 100. The studies show that if the body is lower than 100, it puts strains on the body. So it can obviously strain the body can make it optimal state of being sick. A diseased, nearly dead person has a frequency of about 15. And that is where polyester, rayon, and silk, synthetic register. Well, non-organic cotton register the signature frequency of about 70. However, if the fabric has a higher frequency, it gives energy to the body. This is where linen comes in as a super fabric. Its frequency is 5,000, wool is 5,000. But when it's mixed together with the linen, the frequency cancel each other out and fall to 0. So when you mix linen and wool, which are super fabrics of 5,000, they cancel out because it's going against scripture. The Most High tells us do not mix linen and wool together, which is an animal and plant fabric mixed together. So we want to, in a nutshell, we don't want to mix animal and plant fabrics, and we want to stick to organic cotton, linen, wool of proven quality fabrics to help our bodies. And in closing, eliminate the processed foods, the hybrid foods, the GMO foods. Eat organic fruits and vegetables with seeds, which has a positive and not a negative effect on your mucous membrane. Anything without a seed is foreign, created in a laboratory. And keep the food law. Do our due diligence because, beloved, I pray that all may go well with you and that you may be in good health as it goes well with your soul. Happy new moon. I pray this study gave you some understanding that you didn't have before. If not, I'm pretty sure someone in your life needs to hear this information, relay it. So many of us are coming out of Babylon and we're just trusting the system. And as shown in this study, the system is literally built to kill you. So, as scripture says, oh my goodness. Get out of her, my people. Get out of her, my people. And it's not just getting out of the church, it's also getting out of the pharmaceuticals, getting out of the mainstream diet, the all-American diet, and all of these deceptions that has been put in front of us. Once again, Shabbat Shalom, and may Abba Baruch your path.